How you doing, fine sir?
No, well, I decided I'm going to purchase this, but I got something for you.
I say we go get it.
Let's do it.
All right. Looks promising. We're even welcome.
The shed's down there.
Where is it? That one. Okay. What's hidden in that brush right there? Anything?
That's a golf cart or something. Golf cart, maybe? Is it a three-wheeler? Two?
On this side. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Did you go in on this side?
We went in on that side. It's down there.
Well, you do the
I'll
honors.
do the honors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You see the brick?
Stay away from that.
So the bee's nest?
Yeah.
Poison ivy.
Huh. Dun dun dun. Oh yeah. I think I might have to go get a light, huh? That's been there a little while. It's a cool machine though. It's got dualies on it. Nice. You got a plow blade for it too?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Take that too.
Awesome. Little 8-horse Kohler. It'll cut down some shrubs too. It's almost like a DR field and brush mower. It's a funky tractor. Not into the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
She's gonna get the plow yet. Rolls back off.
Thank God
I'm
it
glad you brought
rolls
the
though.
trailer.
At least it moves.
That is true.
I aired up the tires. It rolls so much better now. Come on, get on it. I can't fix you unless I'm on the operating table. All right. Now we need a nap. Well, other than putting the air in the tires, you guys know about as much of it as I do. I have no idea
just stopped being used because something happened to the person that was using it, or something happened to the machine. So we're gonna go figure that out and see either what it failed for, or can we resurrect it and bring it back to life. So it looks like it's running a little Kohler. I think that's, yeah, a little Kohler, probably 8 horse. It does look like it's got electric start. It's got a battery up there, and yeah, electric starter right there. Looks pretty complete. Looks like somebody scabbed on a gas tank from a snowblower, and a chipmunk or a rat or something like the gas cap. Linkage looks pretty complete. Tires are dry rotted and starting to pop through the sides of the sidewall. But again, it's a tractor. It's not like it's a car going down the road. Got 2 attachments. Got a blade and a plow blade. And I don't know what you want to call this. A rough cut mower. We'll deal with that part of it later. Let's get you set up in the stand and let's see what we got for an engine. We'll start with the engine and kind of go from there. And first things first, doesn't have a pull start on it, but we should be able to turn it. Yeah, the pulley. Let's see if it goes all the way around. It does. And it feels like it's got compression. Good. Alright. Let's go see what we got for fluids. See if there's any oil in it. Any answer to that. Got something in it. It's okay enough to work with. Will need to be changed. What happens if they sit for a long time? All the sediment that's in the oil, it'll look real good, and then you fire it up the first time, it kicks up all the garbage that's on the bottom. See what we got in the gas tank. Hot door on the other side. Something to grab a light. Going in. It looks pretty empty. It looks like moisture from water. Hopefully I can show you, right? Yeah, it looks like it's just got moisture in it. Let's go pull the plug and blow some of that crap away around the plug and give her a spin. Actually, we got oil. Let's go pull the plug. We'll take a look at it. Dribble a little bit of oil down inside the plug hole, and then we'll maybe put a jumper pack to it and see if any of the electric start stuff spins. We don't have a pull start on it. I want to check for spark is what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, see what that has to offer us. I don't know about year. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, like 1970 maybe. Yeah, a little carboned up. Looks like it might have been running a little bit rich. All right, let's go dribble a little bit of oil down inside there and get a jumper pack. Just give a quick little bit of that. We should actually pop that air cleaner off first, just in case there's something funky. Look down. There you go. Make sure you're not going to suck in a bee's nest or something. Sometimes the foam on the filters too just rot away to nothing. Should be paper. Not too bad. Do we have throttle moves? Choke moves. Choke's on a cable. All right, jumper pack now. Just remember, red is positive, unless they're both red. So, follow it home. This one went to ground, and this one's going to the starter solenoid over there. All right, let's go see if you bump that key, anything happens. I'm going to give it a 60% success rate that it works. That's not very high, I know. Nothing. I overshot it. I don't know if there's any safeties. I'll have to go probe it with a test light. I got my test light set up. One side's on the ground terminal, the other side's on the hot terminal. Make sure my light works. So this post right here, this wire, the thin little wire coming down, that gets a signal from the starter switch up there. That light should light up when I go to turn the key. That'll tell us if the switch is working and we're getting power to the solenoid. Actually, we should be able to, yeah, we got main power going to it. So this little one right here, I believe should be 12 volts. Let's go find out. Yeah, so we're not getting a signal down there. Probably the ignition switch itself is boogered up from sitting out in the weather. Let's try getting a jumper wire and going across that for now, and we'll see if that solenoid works. Kind of like if you had an old Ford, same thing. You would cross the hot to right there. We're gonna have a jumper wire going to it. Hopefully, clicking. Let's pull the solenoid in, but I don't think it's working for, that solenoid has a big set of contacts in it. Sometimes if you hit it a bunch of times, the contacts will clean themselves too. Let's try it. There it goes. All right, let's go spinner for a little bit. Sounds pretty decent. Let's go throw the plug in and see if we get spark. The key is in the on position, and we are looking right there. No spark. So the motor will have a kill wire somewhere on it, and all that does is it grounds it out. It's probably, it might be that one. Let's go into the points, and it obviously could be the points that are clogged up too. I don't trust that switch because it doesn't work for the crank part of it. Nothing's saying that it's working for the kill part of it too. Not quite sure where that would ground out, but it would ground out the points side of the wire. You got a hot side of the coil and a point side. That's the point side there. Let's go pop that points cover off real quick, and we'll see what we can find inside there, see if they're just all gummed up. But there is a kill wire on it, one of them somewhere. It might be wrapped up in that harness. More than likely, they're pretty gummed up. Just the nature of points, you know. And I'd say this machine has probably sat a long time. Looks like somebody's had it apart too. There's a bunch of sealer between the engine and the gearbox. Come on. Let's get that out of there. We're going to be looking right up here. See how the sealer is? And I'm talking about this stuff in between here. Somebody's already had this part at some time in its life. So we are looking right there, and we're looking at those two surfaces. They actually do not look terrible. A lot of times they'll be like funky green. Let's go give it a quick spin to make sure that they're opening. Yeah, they are. And it should be around 20 thou. And it looks like it's a little over that. That's okay. I'm gonna go grab a points file anyway. Drag it across that a couple times. We'll spin it again to see if we have spark. Alright, let's go give that a spin again, see if we get anything. That's still looking right there. Nope, we have nothing. There's a chance there's, you know what? We do have a throttle. Sometimes on the carburetor too, in the governor, there'll be a kill. Let's go give it some throttle. I would think it would be the key, but that's what I'm reading right there. Actually, yeah, stop on the bottom of it. So sometimes on the linkage of the carburetor, you bring it all the way to one side. That's the part that grounds it out. Let's go see. Yeah, I'm out of fingers. Nope. All right, so we're going to go find what the kill wire is to it, which should be on the ignition. I keep hitting my head on the handlebars. And again, it's in the run position. It probably is the... Actually, we probably just unplug it altogether. Let's go get that switch right out of there. All right, let's get... There we go. All right, one more time. Can you see the plug? Yeah, corner of your eye. Still no spark. That's not good. Possibly we have, well, we could have everything. We have a coil problem, we could have a magneto problem. So I believe we're going to have some kind of charging system underneath here, which makes the juice for the coil. Battery's already hooked up to it, so if it required a battery, that's already in the circuit. Not saying that it's not going through the key switch, but... So I kind of suspect the ignition switch, and I'm thinking that it turns on and off the 12 volts to the coil, not killing the ground like a lot of them are. So I'm going to try putting 12 volts right to the coil, and we'll try cranking it one more time and see if that does it for us. We are looking where? Right here, right? There we go. We got spark now. So that's what it is. We're not getting power to the coil to energize it, not killing it with the ground. Let's go dribble a little bit of gas in it, put the plug in it, try it, and fire it up, and we'll listen real quick. Give her a little shot. Would help if I get it in the plug hole. That should make for a good fireball. So that was the problem all along. I don't think the points were dirty enough to cause this issue. All right, let's give her a crank. Let's see what we got on throttle. We are on idle, and choke is open. Doesn't that sound sweet? Nice, a little chugger-lugger along. All right, let's get the... I'm gonna go look into the carb and see what condition that is in. Let's get this side tin off the way, and then we're gonna drop the float ball real quick, and we'll see what we got going on. I do see the fuel is shut off, so that's a good sign. Possibly it's been saved. If not, we got to get that off of there and soaking. Two more on the side. And for our next set of surprises, I'm hoping for good. And the reason why I say that is because that fuel line shut off. That fuel line might have been shut off because the carb leaks too, though. And it's got something in it. Come on. You gonna be one of those? Gasket's got to come off. Sitting on the fuel line clamp. Somebody put on there later. See if we can flip it down. How'd they ever even get that tight? How did you get that tight? I'm looking at that right there. It's literally right above the bowl. Let me see if we can get that tweaked out of there and make the fuel line right off of there and drop it. It'll get in there a little. Pair of pliers. We'll do it. Alright, now I got enough room. There we go. Looks like oil. Not terrible though. I've definitely seen worse than that. Good, it's not all rotted and corroded and burned up. That looks like fuel before ethanol fuel, actually. So it definitely has sat a while. Can we get the needle in seat out of it? I'm gonna end up taking that carb off there anyway. Now I'm gonna go pop that carb off of there. We're still gonna go clean it, but it looks pretty decent. Just be easier for assembling everything back with the gasket than trying to do it with what's there. All right, take the choke off. Get that fuel line out of there. Now I'm going to mark where those linkages were. And it's kind of like your governor setup. You'll get different feedback if you try putting them in different spots. I'm going to get those two screws out of it and get it popped away. That was stuck. A little bit of corrosion on it. Not terrible. Alright, let's go get the mixture screws out of it. And I'm going to go throw this over in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let it get a bath. Go clean the ports. Should be a long one. Yeah, it's got some crud on it. Right in the center. And we should be able to possibly push down through the center. Go around the bench. Let's see if we can get that main. It doesn't want to move. I'm not going to screw with it too much. I don't want to damage the end of it. Sometimes they come out, sometimes they're pressed in and they don't. And I think this one, you're going to do more damage to it trying to get it out of there than if you just leave well enough alone. I'm pretty sure it comes out this way. Alright, I can go in the bath, the jets can go in the bath, and the float pool. I do think that might fall. We'll throw it in there. Sink. There you go. Of course, the float should float into the witch's brew. We'll let that, I don't know, half hour or so. We'll let it do its thing, and it's always cool looking when it starts doing its flow. Right. Let's go fix something else while we're waiting. Well, we know we have a crank and a start issue with that ignition switch. Let's get that out of there. We'll either just try to find another one for my stash, or maybe we'll operate on that. Looks like a fairly simple one. Yeah. Do some chopping. I don't have one here. I may have one at the house. Let's go mark that and go dive in anyway. We can't break it anymore, it's already broken, right? So the edges of it are all peened over. It's kind of what's holding that centering. If we can get that material to walk away, it should be able to pop up for us. I'm sure it's all full of water, you know, if this is left outside, it just runs right in through the front of the switch. These things are not very watertight. So it has a couple of functions. Of course, one is allowing power to go to the coil, not grounding it out, having power go to the coil, and power go to the starter. And then I would think the last system is probably going to be the charging system, making the link for the charging system. It's just a guess on my end. There can be a bunch of like points, just like when we clean the points. It's kind of the same thing, but there's 6 of them. Alright, you think that's enough to get it open? There we go. Oh, she's pretty dirty. Yeah, that wasn't gonna play very well. Let's. So those two should sweep. The whole thing should sweep when I turn the key. I'm gonna go over wire wheel. I'm gonna go clean all that crap off of there, and we'll come in maybe with like a pencil eraser. We'll clean these 2 up, and I think I don't know if the center one. No, the center one's just a guide. But let's get all this cleaned up first. See what we get. So clean that up on the wire wheel anyway. Let's. Little dielectric cleaner. They're just sitting on there with a spring. Yeah. Probably do the same to them. I don't know if an eraser will be good, or we're gonna go hit them on the wire wheel too. We'll clean both of them up. Let them clean up. Let's see if we can lift this right out of here. And I wanna. Take a little bit of time. We can clean this body of this thing up. We'll get some of the corrosion out of here. I'm gonna go clean that up. And I'll bring you right back. Little detents down there. Supposed to fall in these holes. Ain't nothing going in those holes. Being that dirty. So that's the off position. That is on. And then that's crank with the spring-loaded part of it. Right to off. I marked the case. Hopefully I didn't wash that off. There's our mark. Actually, let me go clean these terminals up too. Nice to do both sides of it. And we gotta put the little tabs on. They go like that, right? I don't know. I'm gonna goober them up a little bit with something to protect them. The backside's got to drop in though. Yeah, well, there you go. Let's throw some electrical grease on this side anyway. And we'll let that transfer over, other than the hair. To them. Alright, so that marking was right there. As long as we can get that to go. That one stopping us, the one that was screwing with us earlier. Yeah. Uh-oh. Gone forever. Now everything's sticky. That's what she said. Go find my parts. Stay. I think we got it. No, hammering is not going to work. Let's try an opposite approach. Opposite approach. It's going to be trying to get this side in first, because I'm not sure it's got to fit in. There we go. We got her. You just got to love tap that edge around a little bit. Nothing saying the switch is going to work, but you wanted to see what was inside it anyway, right? Even that key fit really crappy in there too. Don't worry about spark just yet. I think we're still hooked up. Let's go see if crank will work. All right, good. It's a little sticky on the return side. Let's check for spark without our apparatus to see if that came back. And if so, we're 2 for 2. If not, we got to look into why that circuit's not getting energized. Are you good? Oh yeah, we got it fixed for free. I'm gonna put that points cover back on there. Just want to show this, a little tool for. They make them for Phillips too. Just kind of locks onto the screw, and that way when you're not fumbling in that tight little spot trying to get her started. But you can still fumble, but you won't be dropping the screw. Yeah. Where's the hole? Gotta go up higher. Yeah. That's that one. Yeah, sometimes the hole's a little higher. Just saying. It's a neat rig with the 4 wheels like that. They were common for a while. It seemed like they got away from them, and then the only thing I see kind of like with this setup is like a DR field and brush mower. I think they made like a, what's it called, a sulky? It's that little seat that goes behind the machine. Connects on the back right here. You can stand on it, or sometimes they do one with a chair too. You can kind of sit on and work the machine from behind. But at that point, is it better just to go and get a regular 4-wheel tractor? I'm gonna go try this one out. Again, it's got the 2 different attachments to it. So that's off. It should come out. The plow blade, I don't know. I would think you would need more weight. I guess it's, and how much snow you're trying to move. Or maybe it's even not even for stone, maybe for dirt. But I know they make a bunch of different attachments for it. I think they got a sickle bar, a tiller, of course the blade that's on the front. I would think a snowblower, maybe even. That might not be, you know, if this had a nice big snowblower on it, that'd probably be its most useful. And that for cutting grass. I'm gonna crank that up and put the plug on it. Well, by all rights, we should be able to just put a little bit of gas in it. Should fire for a second. There you go. All right. Well, the electrical part's all set up. I don't know if you want to let that carburetor sit a little bit more. Or should we kind of jump into something else? It's probably been about 20 minutes or so. We'll give it a little bit more time. Maybe I'll go grab a coffee. Is anything else standing out that seems screaming, needing some love? I think we just kind of concentrate on the engine for now, and then we'll get in. Once we get that part of it running, we'll start chasing how the transmission works and, you know, the stuff up here. Looks pretty beefy. That's a and to change it out, what would you do? 4 bolts? Let's go look at the plow real quick, see how it swaps over from one to another. Yeah, it looks like it just, you would bolt that and bolt this right up to it, and doesn't use any PTO, just a pusher. And little lock pins for the angles. Little shoes so you don't dig in too far. It's got a cutting edge. Cutting edge actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I don't know if that's for snow or if that's for dirt, pushing dirt around. Probably both. Well, I'm just going to take a few minutes while the carb's off and just kind of clean stuff up. Probably get a parts washer and brush and just wash some of this stuff out. I don't see any heavy debris up inside the fan shroud, otherwise meaning mice and all that. We'll find out when we fire it up. It'll have a tendency to all start stacking right here. There's a big fan right here. This is the air intake, this part. So there's a fan here, and it shoots air up across the cylinders and out. A lot of times mice nests and all that kind of stuff build up inside here. I'm looking at this, the depth of this and the depth of that. I do not think we're going to be able to clear that without having to take some major structures apart. So maybe we're going to leave that for now, especially because we have spark and it's putting that part of it out. All right, we go wash that up and then we'll get the carb and put that back together. I'm hoping that the fuel pump is going to be good, because it looked like it was oil that was left in there, not ethanol leftover fuel, and it just rots the diaphragms right out. So again, this looks like it may have been sitting for so long that may not be the case. One thing I see one thing I see that may be okay, it seems like they have the gas tank more than high enough over the carburetor where it won't be an issue. If we have to, we'll just gravity feed it, but we'll see. I'm gonna change all the fuel lines. That's what I'm doing now. while that carburetor's out of our way. Give us a little bit of elbow room to get in there and yank that stuff. Do the same to the tank too. I can take the tank off. I'll just run some parts washer through it and make sure it's kind of cleaned out. Yeah, so replace that with the exact same thing but new. Clean the tank, got all the fuel line on there. I want to try and run some fuel through that fuel pump in case there's any crap that's in it. Apparently it's not sealing very well. Let's crank it through though, see if we can get it to pop out the other side. I just want it to push any crap that's in it out. That's pretty good. I just want to get rid of any contaminants that were sitting in there, and old fuel that was sitting in there. Now we can put the fresh stuff on it. Yeah, we probably got 40 minutes in the soup. The float's still floating. That's a good sign. Nice. Flip the donut over and clean the side of it that needed that needed to be cleaned. Throw that back in there. I killed my seal. I screwed up. I should have took that out. Might shrink back down as it cools off. Good. She's a tad warm. About 120 degrees warm. I'm gonna let that float sit a little bit more. Nothing shaking in it. That's a good sign. Oh, that's why I did it. I'll let that sit in there a little bit while I'm washing the carburetor. So I tried boiling it, and I threw it in a freezer afterwards. Let's see if it would shrink up. Nope. I won't tell if you don't. Nobody will know. Just afraid over time it might shrink itself back up again, but we will worry about that if that happens. I'm gonna go a little proud. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can kind of hide some length in it, so if it does shrink down a little bit, a little bit of a preload. All right, then there was this one. Like that. Then our float. And I'm just going to eyeball on the side of that float that it sucks because you were yelling at me, but I wasn't listening to you. Come on, back out. Come on. It would definitely help. Put the needle in first. Then it has something for the float to float against. And then I'm just going to eyeball on the side of that float, and I want to see just that float's kind of sitting level, and it is parallel, I should say, with the body of the carb. Generally, what you do is you take a roll pin, you put a roll pin between the body and the or a drill bit rather, of a certain size. I found that to be 99.9% correct. And that's all that goes in the top. Very simple carburetor. And then we have the two other. Of course, it's the wrong one. Then we just have the main and the idle jet. on the other side. I blew everything out, everything all cross passaged out. Those little pinholes inside there, blew them out. I'm gonna kind of run them. I'm gonna run it in, run it out about 2 turns. That's a half. That's 1, 1.5, 2. I'm gonna go a little bit more because one way it will run and one way it will not. You, as you run that in, you pinch off how much fuel is getting drawn up. So the more you run them in, the less fuel you got. The more you run them out, the richer it gets. So that's the idle circuit. I'll do a half, 1, 1.5. So we would kind of use that for a starting point. I think we're good to put that back on. I'm also going to just blow in through here. Upside down, I should be able to blow. Not blow because the float is down, and then if I flip it over, I should be able to blow through it. That means the float passage is open. That carburetor's back together. See if we throw some gas in and see if it pees out anywhere. The fuel shut off, it kind of works. You can still blow through it lightly, so I guess that's not working. It's a fuel slower downer. Just get her enough to get the enough. Fuel filter's full. Hopefully, no gas comes pissing out of that carburetor. Give it a second. It should be able to push through. Did you see the drip? Yeah, remember that fuel shut off? It's leaking around the fuel shut off. Great. Alright, that's okay. We may just get rid of that altogether unless I have another one in my stash. Let's go see if she fires up and how she sounds. Should be able to go right with the key now. Choke my fingers. Or no choke. Sounds pretty good, actually. I'm gonna bring her down. It's on idle, so let's do the idle one. Run it until it screws up. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. The air cleaner will make a difference too, but we'll fine tune it after that's on. Falling off her face. I guess go rev her up. If it'll rev up. We were right there. Sounds nice. No smoke. Excellent. Good. All except for that fuel shut off. That is more of a fuel drain. I'm gonna go see if I got something for in here. If not, I may put a piece of like a piece of copper tubing or something just to bridge this for now, and then when I get another one, I'll just put it in there. I would like to, especially on these older carburetor setup, they have a tendency, you put them in a shed or a barn for a while, you let them sit, they'll end up seeping and running down. And sometimes what will happen is it'll actually run into the engine and fill the oil up, and you have like half gas and half oil. And clamp that off and get rid of Mr. Drippy. Yeah, I don't have one. So, and it's late at night. I'm not gonna be able to get one. I'll grab one tomorrow, and then I'll just replace that. Again, it's clamped off, so it's not gonna do anything. Guys, actually what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make this a 2-part video. My videos sometimes start getting to be an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So this one's got some decent time to it. So what we'll do is we'll divide this one up into 2, and we'll finish up the rest of it. Start looking into the other components, how it is, how it runs, get a battery set up on it, check the charging system, get all the levers and controls to work, and maybe take it out in the field and beat on some grass and twigs and sticks and brush and see how she does with them dually tires on it. All right, guys, but for now, I think we're gonna go call it quits, and I will see you soon on the next one. Till then. later. No, I don't think it's locked in because it does not turn at all. I think we're just seized up. Probably just from sitting so long would be my guess, but I would think there's bearings in here, but it could be the gearbox up above it also. Got a bit of a bend to her. So, it's gonna mark where that is. I'm gonna try bringing that over to the press, and maybe between here, I'll put the nut on the other side. We know this is the furthest bent away. See if I can get a little bit of that bend out. Let's see what we get. I don't know if it's gonna move at all, actually. There's a crack on us.